communication is one of the most important skills a direct support worker can have. An important part of good communication is understanding body language or nonverbal communication. Have you ever had difficulties communicating with someone you support? It's possible that how people understood nonverbal communication was a part of the miscommunication. Some of the people you support may have difficulties reading nonverbal communication, so it is important that your verbal and nonverbal communication match. Others may have difficulty understanding what you are saying and depend on your nonverbal communication for understanding. For example, people with some kinds of dementia can understand nonverbal communication after they have lost the ability to understand speech. It is also important for direct support workers to be observant and to understand the nonverbal communication of the people they support. Some people who don't use words to communicate have very expressive and rich nonverbal communication. When we take the time to learn how people communicate, we can understand people's likes, dislikes, wants, and needs better. This will help us provide better supports. So what is nonverbal communication? It's our facial expressions, body movements, positions, mannerisms, and our tone of voice. All of these communicate what we are thinking or feeling. Nonverbal communication can be different across cultures, however, some nonverbal communication is universal, such as the facial expressions we have for certain emotions, like happiness, sadness, or anger. If you are supporting someone from a different cultural background, take time to learn if there are any differences. Nonverbal communication happens without us thinking about it. That is why it is important for us to think about what our body language is really telling the people we support. Whether we like it or not, our appearance sends messages about who we are. You may need to wear comfortable clothes to work, but you can still have a professional appearance by wearing clothing that is neat, clean, and without offensive language or images. Gestures are an important part of communication. Nodding or hand movements when we are talking are common examples of this. People we support may use gestures as a primary form of communication. For example, they may point at something that they want. Facial expressions are part of nonverbal communication. It's important to understand the facial expressions of the people you support, especially when the person that you support doesn't use words to communicate. We also communicate through posture. For example, we can communicate that we are interested in what someone is telling us by facing the person, or we can communicate that we aren't interested by turning away. Posture can also tell you a lot about how the people you support are feeling. Does the person you support hold their body differently when they are happy or when they are disappointed? Expectations about eye contact differ across cultures. In most Western countries, making eye contact when speaking with someone is expected. For people with some kinds of disabilities, making eye contact is uncomfortable. Direct support workers should learn how the person they support shows that they are listening and not insist on eye contact. For some people, side-to-side conversations that don't involve eye contact are easier. Paralinguistics is how our voice sounds when we communicate verbally. It's how loud we are, our tone, our speech patterns, and even the dialects we speak. Having a tone that doesn't match our words can be very confusing for some people. For example, if we use positive words but sarcastic tone, people might not understand that as a negative comment. Providing good support relies on quality communication. Taking the time to think about the message your nonverbal communication sends, along with seeking to understand what the person you support is telling you with theirs, will improve communication with the person you support, helping you be a better direct support worker.